Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor Vinti Davar from Kurukshetra University, Kurukshetra. Today we are going to discuss the module Waste Management in Food Service from the paper Food Service Management. Food service industry is increasing at an exponential rate so as the issue of managing waste in these establishments. The Food and Agriculture Organization, known as FAO, United Nations, finds that of the total food produced, a loss of approximately 32% was reported in 2009. Various studies around the globe have also supported this. A study conducted in America by Busby and Wells in 2011 concluded that retail and food service industry contributed around 19% of the total food waste, valued around 86 billion pounds, lost in 2008, whereas in case of Canada, food waste management has costed 2.2 billion US dollars. So it is the requirement of the hour for food service industry to wake up and to minimize waste as well as manage it properly. This will help in cost reduction, profit maximization, and for this purpose, waste management has to be a part of organizational philosophy and its designing process to minimize negative impacts on the environment. The main objectives of this module are to make you aware about definition of waste, types of waste generated in food service establishments, definition of what is food waste, and waste management in food service organizations. How do we define waste in a food service industry? Waste is any unwanted, undesirable material or substance in an organization. It is also popularly known as rubbish, trash, junk, garbage, etc. Sometimes waste is also referred as something which we use inefficiently or inappropriately. For a food service industry, it can include food, paper, plastic, glass, etc. We can divide it into two main categories, the biodegradable waste and the non-biodegradable waste. The biodegradable waste is also termed as wet waste. It includes waste from food, vegetable, fruits, and meats, whereas the non-biodegradable or dry waste refers to plastic, glass, packaging, metals, etc. Most important type of waste in food service industry is food waste. Food waste or food loss is food that is discarded or lost uneaten. The causes of food waste or loss are numerous and occur at the stages of production, processing, retailing, and consumption. Food loss measures the decrease in edible food mass, excluding animal parts and seed, throughout the part of the supply chain that specifically leads to edible food for human consumption. That is, loss at the production, post-harvest, and processing stages. Whereas food waste is food loss occurring during the retail and final consumption stages due to the behavior of retailers and consumer, that is, throwing away of food. FAO in 2013 referred food waste as the food which is of good quality and fit for human consumption, but that does not get consumed because it is discarded either before or after it spoils. As of 2013, half of all food is wasted worldwide. Loss and wastage occurs at all stages of the food supply chain or value chain. In low income countries, most loss occurs during production, while in developed countries, much food, about 100 kilograms per person per year, is wasted at the consumption stage. Managing waste is a new term. How waste management can be undertaken? This includes the process of monitoring waste materials, that is, how much of the food is produced, how it is collected, and how it is disposed of. Solid waste is that solid material which is useless, unwanted, or discarded. A continuous production of waste creates a serious environmental problem. To tackle this problem, we must know about the sources of waste. The picture which is being shown to you on the screen, if you look at that, you will find cereals are wasted to the tune of 19%, fruits and vegetables to 44%, roots and tubers to 20%, which results in extensive nutritional losses of 80% energy together. Food waste usually includes leftover portions of meals and trimmings from food preparation in kitchens and restaurants. It is found to be the third largest component of generated waste and is increasing day by day. It is established that over the last 25 years, the food waste has reached a total of 1.2 million tons. As per the Department of Agriculture USA alone produces more than 14 million tons of food waste per year, meaning 106 pounds of food waste per person, which is almost 14.3% of the total solid waste globally. Moreover, only 4.1% of this wasted food is composted. The rest is landfilled or incinerated. However, the issue of dealing with solid food waste is not simple. Therefore, food service providers have to face several critical issues in terms of waste disposal, energy consumption, and wastewater, etc. So let us know the sources of waste in food service industry. Few sources of waste come from the process. It includes packing material, plastic tins, cans, bottles, paper, rubber, sludge, organic waste, fruit and vegetable trimmings, plate waste, spoiled food, excess cooked and uncooked food, and fat, etc. The second type is waste from slaughtered animals and birds. And the third is the wastewater, which is produced from washing the waste, liquids as tea, coffee, juices, and stocks, etc. But what are the effects of such waste? The effects are these all wastes pollute the environment, make the environment unhygienic, open breeding sites of insects and infectious organisms, attract the insects, and spread infection. It pollutes the air, contaminates groundwater, and the soil becomes polluted. Therefore, we need waste management in food service industry. We also need to establish high standards of hygiene and sanitation. We need to maintain a safe workplace. We need waste management to reduce impact of waste on the surrounding environment, to minimize the amount of waste generated, and to comply with government regulations. What are the main objectives of food service waste management? Encourage all employees and management to aggressively make contributions in the program by avoiding waste, reducing waste, reusing waste, and recycling waste program. To follow various environmental safety legislations and policy, we also need to adopt and implement the waste management policy from time to time. We can evaluate the performance and review the current waste management practices as per the schedule fixed by management. Now, let us talk food service waste management at length. Waste management is a set of activities that include the collection, transport, treatment, and disposal of waste, control, monitoring, and regulation of the production, collection, transport, treatment, and disposal of waste, and prevention of waste production through in process modification, reuse, and recycling. For a successful food service waste management, it is necessary that it should be able to minimize the waste to a minimum level and process the existing waste in the best possible way. It may require some actions like prepare a team of employees, perform waste audit, re-examine the process of purchasing materials and reassess the business decisions, segregating and weighing various types of waste, ideas for reducing food waste, follow correct inventory management techniques, prepare guidelines for the program, try to recycle every waste item. So I'll discuss each point one by one. The very first, create a team of responsible persons for waste management. A team of persons from various departments should be formed, or we can always hire a professional team to do the waste audit. It is necessary to educate every member of the team about methods of monitoring, storage, and recycling. Secondly, we need to perform waste audit. There can be two main groups of restaurants waste: before dining waste and after dining waste. Of any food joint, there are going to be before the food is consumed and after the food has been consumed. The first type of waste, that is before dining, includes the waste that is generated during the preparation process. The peels, the parts of food, bones, spoilage due to accident or overcooking, burnt cooking, all goes to waste. It is established that nearly 4 to 10% of a restaurant's raw food become part of this type of waste. What measures can be taken to minimize this waste? We can take different measures, because what can we do? We can avoid taking off excessive peel, a thick peel, and we can always be very careful that the food does not go waste on accidents, may not be wasted if it is burnt. So avoid. And you can always keep the temperatures low while cooking so that the food does not get burnt and is not wasted. Whereas after dining waste includes everything that guests leave in their plate after consuming the food. This is commonly known as plate waste. It may have food material or packaging materials. In many countries, serving large food portions is part of promotional campaigns. Let me tell you, earlier the size of the burger used to be small. Now, all outlets are serving big, large sized burgers. The size of foot long burger, you all know, is in feet. So, definitely, the large sized pizzas, the large sized chapatis, the jumbo dosas lead to lot of wastage. This is also a very big source of after dining waste in food service organizations. A fair evaluation of waste shall provide important information about the type and quantity of waste generated by daily operations of a particular food service organization. This will form the basis of how this waste can be dealt. Once again, 3 R's: how it can be reduced, how it can be recycled, or how it can be reused. So, the next point is to re examine the process of purchasing materials and reassess the business decisions. Now, what do we mean by this? This assessment is very important as it will be very helpful finding out the source of waste and garbage. How can we do it? By having employee viewpoint. The employees are the best people to inform that how and what waste can be minimized. How can it be managed? Listing and maintaining records of various types of waste and its quantities. If you go on listing and you maintain the record, you would come to know which particular dishes are not being eaten by people in full. You need to retrospect and then reduce the portion size or change the taste of the food, because there has to be some reason why the food is being wasted. Also, what can be helpful is the purchase related documents such as invoices, and decisions should be taken to re examine and to find out possible loopholes. When I say the purchase related documents, when we place orders for purchase, the quantities asked may be much more than what we require. Here, volume forecasting is very, very important. Then, segregating and weighing various types of waste is equally important. The next point is ideas for reducing waste. What ideas for reducing food waste? Once the audit of food waste has been done and the quantity and type of the waste has been established, the next logical step is to generate and find out new ideas to reduce food waste. Some of the prevailing ideas for achieving this goal can be: you can modify the menu. The restaurant's menu must be adjusted to reduce the weight, as it can reduce both type of waste prior to cooking, prior to dining, and after dining. We can modify the menu. Then purchase judicially. You have to purchase judiciously. I right now said that purchasing should be done very judiciously. What do I mean when I say the quantities required should only be ordered for the raw food? We take an example. We are going to cook a vegetable. So we order large quantities of fresh vegetables, but use very small portions out of those. The rest of it is going to be totally wasted. So reduce or purchase judiciously. Instruct your employees. Employees should be provided with proper practical training to educate the employees about how to avoid waste. We can buy best quality food production equipment. There are automated time with timer equipment. When the food will be cooked, the timer will beep and inform the chef that food is ready. So you can take out the food. Equipment is the main resource after employees that needs to be taken care of especially. It is highly recommended that always purchase latest technology and quality equipment with standard specifications, with standard marks, certified marks such as ISI, which are specialized in particular work. That is why proper use of equipment is also recommended to reduce waste. Evaluate your service equipment and gears. So, this is also very important. From time to time, we need to maintain the equipment. If service is required, we ask for service. Overhauling is required, we ask for overhauling. Service equipment, especially plates, needs to be evaluated for their contribution in unnecessary generation of food waste. Now, how does plate, the size of the plate, hastens or reduces the waste? It can add waste, it can reduce waste. If you are using large plates to serve snacks, there will be wastage. There is bound to be wastage. There may be requirement of change in some service equipment, and the bigger plates can be replaced with smaller ones to avoid unnecessary waste. The next main point is store perishables at right temperature. The perishables such as fruits, vegetables, meats should be stored at right temperature and separately in suitable packaging and containers. However, these must be monitored regularly for any spoilage and variation in temperature. Now, when I say that perishables should be properly stored, if the perishables are stored at very low temperature in deep freezers, the perishables will freeze. When you take out those fruits and vegetables, after thawing, they are going to lose their texture and shape and will be labeled unused. So you are going to throw that in the waste. Avoid that. Also, do not store them at very high temperature. If you put fresh greens on the room temperature, it will soon wilt away. So once wilted, it will add to the waste. So you have to follow the correct procedure. Also, I made a point that separate in separate containers. When I say separate, because the there are certain foods which are wasted very quickly and there are certain foods which do not spoil so quickly. So put them into separate containers when you are storing them. That will reduce the wastage. And then the seventh point is follow correct inventory management techniques. The stored food items must be used and issued strictly as per the scientific inventory management practices. I hope you already know LIFO or FIFO. Last in, first out, first in, first out must be followed as per the requirement of the establishment and nature of the item stored. The main aim should be to ensure minimum waste generation and rotation of all the food items to generate maximum profits. Various computer softwares can be very helpful in maintaining par stock levels and optimum inventory levels for an organization. This software will inform you that you already have certain amount of food in the store. That is the par stock level. So need not buy more. This is the optimum. Don't purchase. If you are careful, you will not purchase and you are not going to generate waste. This can significantly lower down the food waste and purchase bills for any food service organization. Unnecessary cluttering of supplies can also be avoided by these softwares, along with identification of expired items, show slow moving items, etc. The next point is build practical guidelines. You should build and circulate in the whole staff. And also, you can put up posters here and there and billboards so that the customers also read those and make it a practice. About what? About waste minimization, use of reusable products, and recycling. Now, if you put different bins at different places and mark on them recyclables, reusables, everybody will throw waste into those containers only. And that can automatically go for reusing or for recycling. And then the next point is educating the staff members about the waste management policy of management. If they are aware that this waste management policy has to be undertaken, they will also be careful. And the next and the last in this can be reducing environmental impact of waste management. If you are able to manage the waste, you are going to reduce the impact, the damaging effect on environment. The most practical way of doing this is using separate bins for different types of waste. These may be color coded as is being shown on the screen. This is done to ensure proper treatment of different types of waste, whether it is to be recycled, reused, or composted, etc. Broadly, waste from a food service organization can be divided into organic or non-organic waste, which is further treated as per the policies of the organization. It is recommended that the waste management should form a vital component of every employee's training, and it must be enforced by constant feedbacks and trainings. We should measure the segregated weight. First, measure the empty waste bin, then measure the weight of both the container and the waste. Then find out the waste of total waste of each bin. Then find out the weight of total waste of each bin. These figures should be recorded either on paper or in computer. Repeat this process after each shift or each hour. This will help in finding out the exact amount of each type of waste generated. However, it should be kept in mind that the waste handling employees should wear proper gears to protect them from any contamination. It may include masks, gloves, eye protectors, uniforms suited for this job. Waste management includes prevention, waste avoidance, waste reduction, waste reuse, waste recycle, and finally disposal. Now we will learn each point one by one. First of all, waste avoidance. Dear students, prevention is always better than cure. So first approach should be to minimize waste. For this purpose, we can adopt certain measures. What measures? So let's talk about those. Make amendments in the current food and beverage production and service methods. Involve the guests and employees in waste avoidance. Consider more green alternatives of raw materials. Avoid bulk buying. Select reusable and recyclable products. Minimize purchase of disposables. Purchase pre-prepared raw materials. The second point was the waste reduction. We can promote use of washable cloth rags in place of paper towels. Discourage use of polystyrene or other disposables. Serve guests in reusable dishes, tumblers, and cups. Train the employees for reducing waste. Make guests aware of the waste management techniques of the property. Reduce breakage of chinaware and glassware by providing incentives to staff for safe handling. Use common erasable bulletin or message boards for informing guests and employees instead of using papers. The next main point is waste reuse. How can we reuse? Instead of single-use packing of condiments, always use refillable condiments dispensers, which you can open, refill, and then put on the table. Observe strict portion control. Don't throw away the unused plates or buffet food. It can be donated to orphanages or those who are in need. Food waste can be used to make manure or animal food. Then the next main one is the recycling of waste for food service organization. Waste recycle is the collection and reuse of waste materials after recycling, such as empty beverage cans and containers. Few materials such as metals, glass, paper, and corrugated boxes can be easily recycled. There is an urgent need for food service organizations to devise a mechanism to make sure that all the recyclable waste is recycled, keeping in mind the fact that on an average, a restaurant generates almost 50 tons of recyclable food waste. The collection of recyclable waste can be done in different or a single bin and segregated later. All of this can be recycled. This can generate savings to the organization in terms of reduced energy costs. Food service organizations can work in collaboration with local companies for recycling of plastic, copper, aluminium, tin, iron, glass, newspapers, magazines, corrugated sheets and boxes, bottles and products made of PVC, PE, LDPE, and PP. This can benefit the whole society as a whole, and the organization can save waste transportation costs. Some other ways of waste management can be perform rotation of various stocks of raw materials, calculate and adjust inventory levels of different supplies to minimize waste, make scientific evaluation of arranging raw materials in store to ensure easy and smooth access and rotation. Raw vegetables and fruits should be stored in reusable airtight containers to prevent spoilage. Mark the date clearly on the raw materials. Perform regular quality and quantity inspections on the raw materials delivered to your establishments. Keep the storage area hygienically clean. Monitor storage temperatures regularly to avoid food spoilage. Avoid over preparation and prepare foods to order. Vegetable and meat trimmings can be used for preparing stocks, soups instead of throwing those away. Hot food must be stored separately from cold food. Raw food must be stored away from cooked food. Separate types of waste should be differentiated. Now we'll talk about what are the different types of wastes. We can avoid excessive purchasing, buy items in bulk whenever possible, involve your supplier and tell him that you are serious about cutting down unnecessary waste, opt for recycled containers, purchase in large quantity whenever possible but not in excess. Avoid use of paper napkins while serving beverages and use plastic or cloth coasters in case which are reusable. In case of purchasing beverages, Opt for concentrated or bulk form. Soft drinks and beers can be served from a beverage gun or dispenser instead of a PET bottle or can. Regularly check the water syrup ration to ensure proper dispensing of beverages. Fruit juices, teas, chocolate drinks, etc. should be purchased in concentrated form to avoid wastage. Purchase mixes related to bar in concentrated form. Always opt for cleaning agents which are environment friendly or cause less damage to the environment. Buy cleaning agents in bulk packing or in concentrated form to generate less wastage. Make policy to use reusable supplies or uniforms for food production and food service employees in place of disposables. Dear students, there are few general rules for effective waste management. The very first being the teamwork. Employees are the main and most important resource in any organization. So use them to their best capacity. Ask employees to generate ideas. It can be done by simply asking, or you can organize some kind of competition and announce prize for best feasible ideas to reduce waste. Outsiders can also be used in same fashion to develop new ideas. These can be guests, family members of employees, or employees of other establishments. The next point can be emphasize on reducing waste. Train your new and existing employees about your goals. Invite suggestions from employees and guests regularly. Involve your staff members and educate them about any changes made at their workplace and its benefits. Mark your waste bins. You can always color code. Ask for feedback and communicate over the policies implemented, and discuss these regularly with staff members. And the next main point can be your guests involved. You should get your guests involved in reducing the waste. Ask your guests to join your organization in the waste management. Educate them from time to time by putting signboards. Keep them informed about this and ask for feedbacks. Promote your food waste management efforts to create awareness among various stakeholders of the organization. The main waste disposable techniques are incineration, landfill, recycle, and composting. Let us first of all know about incineration. This is a widely used method in which organic wastes are burnt, as you can see on the screen. Solid wastes are quickly disposed by this technique and reduced to residue less than 25% of the original volume. An incinerator burns waste at very high temperature and converts waste to ash, steam, and gas. This is a practical method but controversial because of hazardous gas emissions of dioxins, PAH, and furans. You can see household incinerator on the screen at the moment. The second method is landfill. Waste disposal is most commonly done by dumping it as landfill outside the residential area. Such landfills invite birds, animals, insects, and microorganisms, leading to unhealthy conditions, emitting methane and carbon dioxide gas. Methane gas can create odor problems, kill surface vegetation, and is a greenhouse gas. Whereas a properly designed and well-managed landfill can be a hygienic and relatively inexpensive method of disposing waste materials. Build a system that will ensure the recycling of all types of restaurant waste that is recyclable. Average restaurant in 1 year creates more than 50 tons of food waste. Food waste is organic and can be completely recycled. So, the next point is composting. Organic waste, such as fruit and vegetable peels, scraps, paper products, can be easily converted to compost, as you can see on the screen. Composting is the controlled, natural, biological process in which bacteria, fungi, and other organisms decompose organic materials like food waste. The end product is called compost that can be used as manure in agriculture. In addition, waste gas produced in this process can be used to generate electricity and heat. So, dear students, in the end, to conclude, the waste management is very, very important for any industry or any home, any society, any community. Food service industry also adds to the woes of general public by adding waste, and if the proper management is not done, the environment will be hazardous. We all live in this environment. To save our habitat, we need to reduce, reuse, and recycle the waste so that we can get better results and become leaders in managing waste properly. Thank you so much. It has been a very, very learning experience for me also, and I hope you have gained from this talk. Wish you all good luck. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you once again.